for another lesson. Today we're going to talk about open voicings for chords that you already know. So we went over the caged system, all of those open chords like C, G, E, D, so on and so forth. We also went over bar chords in a few different positions, as well as power chords. So I want to be able to show you today some open voicings of those more closed off chords, if you will. So first one, we have E, which is already pretty open voicing, but I'm going to show you E5 is what it's technically called, and all the chords that I'm going to show you today are actually up on my website. Go to anthonylabruno.com/lessons. There's going to be a bunch of resources on that page for you, chord diagrams in picture files, as well as links to these YouTube videos. So if you ever can't find it on my YouTube page for any reason, you could just go to anthonylabruno.com/lessons for lesson resources. So this is what I'm going to call E5. And you can actually strum all 6 strings, and basically what you're doing is a 7th fret power chord starting on the A string, but you can strum the low E as well. So this is like an open E chord. Alright, so 2 other similar chords. Just slide down 1, 2, 3 frets. Now this time you don't want to play the low E string. So what I do, actually, I don't know if I went over this in another lesson or not, but when I'm playing a chord that the root is on the A, I actually use that pointer finger to press up against the low E string so that it kind of mutes it, so that if I do strum it by accident, it doesn't make that ugly low E sound that would kind of mess up my chord. Alright, so without it, sounds like that. That's a C sharp minor 7. So C sharp, traditionally, C sharp minor would be that A minor shape bar chord on the 4th fret, where you still would, yes, have to mute or not play the low E. That's your traditional textbook C sharp minor bar chord. Now, if I lift up and play it like I said, the more power chord way, it's another way of playing C sharp minor 7. It's a little easier to get to. And a lot of times the next few chords I'm going to show you are actually in the same key as E. So a lot of times you'll find yourself playing them back to back, which is also very convenient because you can keep that power chord shape. So the next one is a B sus. Same exact thing, we're just 2 frets lower, so we're on the 2nd fret. Still, again, we don't want to play that low E, so you can block it with your pointer finger like I do, or you can just not play it. And so the reason is the sus is because of that open high E. But you can a lot of times play these chords, even if on a chord sheet it says E. You can play an E5, depending on what part of the song you might want to play it, just to have that more open sound, or C sharp minor 7, even if it just says C sharp minor, it's okay, there's no law against playing C sharp minor 7. Okay, so even the B sus, you just want to be careful if another player in the band, such as your piano player or another guitarist, is playing a more regular B chord, because this note and that note can clash, so you just want to kind of be aware of what's around you. But if you're playing by yourself, definitely, I use the B sus all the time in place of the B chord. So the next one we're going to go over is, I'll stay in the B family, we'll do another version of B minor. So B minor, we know it would be that 2nd fret bar chord in that like A minor position. But another more open, easier way to play that, again, not playing the low E, would be pointer finger, 2nd fret A, middle fingers, 2nd fret G, and then ring finger, 3rd fret B. And you can leave that open high E as well, making it a B minor 11. It's got a really pretty sound. I use that almost exclusively for B minor chords, especially if I'm playing by myself. Okay, so the next one would be what I'm going to call, and what the chord diagram on my website will say is A add 2. The reason being you have the 3rd of the chord, and if you want to learn more about the root, the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, and what that all means, be sure to check out my piano lessons as well, where we go over a lot of music theory. So we have A add 2, which means we have the regular A chord and we're adding the 2 note into it, and that 2 is going to be the B. So we're on D string, 7th fret, and then G, 6th fret, and that's it. And I'm using my ring and my middle, respectively. Again, we're not going to play that low E, but we're playing everything else. It's a really beautiful open A chord. All right, so that's A add 2. Next, let's go to a couple different F sharp minor chords. So F sharp minor is, oh man, probably a hated chord for most guitarists. I know I'm not a huge fan of playing 2nd fret bar chord in that E minor position. It's not a very beautiful sounding chord. So what you can do is actually pick up your pointer finger, leave your other 2 fingers where they are. So that's 4th fret A and 4th fret D with your ring and pinky. And then you can just put your pointer finger on the 2nd fret G, not play that low E, and then strum the rest of it. And what that is an F sharp minor 11. Nice and open sound. Another way to do that, same chords, F sharp minor 11, but you could play it a different way, is to play an A2, which we'll go over, or have gone over in another lesson. An A2, and then just add your pointer finger to low E 2nd fret. So it's A2, the low E 2nd fret, and you can just strum. What I kind of do is block that that A string just because I don't particularly like how muddy that sounds, so I kind of block it with my pointer finger so that I'm really just playing low E and then D and on. So here's that way and that way. Both F sharp minor 11s, just 2 different variations. Lastly, I want to go over 2 versions of F. So F, as we know, would be a 1st fret bar chord in that E major position. So another way to play that, if you don't feel like barring, would be to just not play that low E, and then you could just bar the last 2 strings on the 1st fret with your pointer finger, then G2 as you normally would, pinky on D3, and ring finger on A3. You can do that. Sometimes if I want that bass sound, which is going to give me the same exact sound as the bar chord, I can wrap my thumb around and play that as well. Also, another way to do it, just make sure if you're not using your thumb, that you do not play that low E, because yuck. Lastly, last chord of the lesson today will be an F major 7. So now again, you can use your thumb there if you want to play that root note F, but you don't have to, so I'll do it without it first. F major 7, all you have to do is pick up that pointer finger and leave the high E open. And you have an F major 7. And again, as I said before, with chords like C sharp minor 7 or B sus, if you just see an F chord, sometimes it's quite all right to play an F major 7. So again, if you really want to wrap your thumb around and play that bass, you can add a little something. All right, that does it for today's lesson on open voicings. Again, anthonylabruno.com/lessons for all your resources. You can print out those chord diagrams, or you can just screenshot them because they're always up here on the videos as well. So I hope you have fun with this. Make sure you practice, and you'll get them in no time. Thanks.